Hi, my name is Mimi Gochman, and I believe the best part of this sport is sharing it with family.
Welcome to episode 2 of At Home with Mimi Gochman. We're on our way to WEF to watch her compete. Can't wait to go. Let's go. Beginning as a young child, the competition arena almost became like home for you. How has competing changed over since you were a little kid to now on the international stage?
Yeah, no, competing as a little kid, it was always just a lot about get up the lines and make sure that you land the leads or get the lead change. And now it's a lot more nuanced. There's a lot more detail that I have to think about and kind of prepare my horses in a certain way for each competition.
And I'm sure the venues have changed for you from being a little kid to now showing on the international stage. How does it feel to be in stands where there's massive crowds and now on the big stage?
I think when there is a huge crowd that's really into it and they get really invested in the winning or who's going to win in each horse, that makes it even more fun because our sport is supposed to be watched by others and enjoyed by all. And I think it's a very intense and interesting sport. And if you really get into it and kind of learn each detail and learn about the horses and the humans, that it can be a super fun sport to watch. So I always get super excited when a lot of people come to watch because I think that more exposure for the sport is always better, and kind of getting the sport out and for people to see it is always a great thing. So I think that as I get to jump in bigger arenas with more crowds, I always try to do my best and kind of perform well and show the really, really fantastic parts about this sport and show the positive aspects of it.
Competing on the international stage is not easy, but WEF here in Florida almost makes it like it is in Europe, an international ring. The pressure's the same. How has that been to have experience on your home front?
Yeah, I think WEF is super special in that there are different divisions for every single person, and you can really develop a horse or develop your own riding here. And for them to have so many amazing FEI competitions for all of us to compete in. I mean, most weeks there's a 5-star and a 2-star or a 4-star and a 2-star, and there's the whole U25 division, and there's so many opportunities to jump different levels and different heights that it's really an incredible place to be. And there's so much opportunity for every single person and every single horse rider combination. So I'm super lucky that I get to spend my winters here. It's nice for the horses to not be traveling to every single show. They can really stay in one place. And it's also great because there's so many opportunities to compete and there's so many different classes. Like every week for FEI, there's countless classes for you to prepare in, and kind of there's always an opportunity to win something else, whether it be the Grand Prix or the 150 class on Sundays. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here, which makes WEF so special and why so many international competitors come.
What were your feelings like competing here for the first time in a big WEF Grand Prix with other riders who I'm sure you've looked up to most of your career?
Yeah, no, I try to always take it and just focus on myself, because if you let the pressure get in, then you kind of deteriorate. So I think a lot of it is kind of focusing on your own self and your plan, but it's absolutely incredible being able to compete against such incredible riders every week. I think that it makes you a better and stronger rider, and you kind of can really compare your riding to theirs and figure out where you need to get stronger and what aspects of the course you could have done better. And there's so much to be learned from them. So I think it's a really incredible opportunity, but at the same time, it also makes it a little bit too competitive for you sometimes. Like for me, at points, I'm like, I'm never gonna win a class here because there's so many competitive riders, but it's more of a learning experience and trying to get to the point where you think you have a chance to beat some of these top riders versus kind of getting down about it.
And now you and your family, you're sort of developing your own household name. People know you. I'm sure now kids look up to you and aspire to ride just as you are. How would you say you're inspiring in the youth generation? And does that feel good to now have people knowing your names?
It's an honor for people to be inspired by me. I think I try my best to always be a friendly face and someone that people can come up to and talk to, or someone that is doing a good job and showing the right type of horsemanship. I think that is super important in our sport, to kind of show the best type of horsemanship that you can and show how important the horses are and everything about the sport and the positive aspects of it, while also sort of discussing the negatives and learning from them and being able to kind of choose and pick what you are able to like put out into the world, and how much what you say matters to other people. And I think I've always kind of learned as I've gotten older what the best way to say things, or the best way to act, or how to handle myself in a really tough situation. So I'm honored that people look up to me, and I'm always trying to be a better example for other people.
And just as setting examples, it's not an individual sport, it's a team sport. You have such a big team and a supportive team behind you.
Sure.
How would you say your team has led you to the success you've had here at West?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to actually work with a lot of the same people for many, many years of my life now, and we all know each other very well. And they all know like my certain quirks, and they know what types of things that I need in order to get to the best level of my ability. And I think that we all work well together, and we all try very hard to be as successful as we can. And since it is a bit of a family thing that we're doing here, there's my mom and my sister to consider, the whole team sort of becomes family, and we all spend a lot of time together. I mean, that's what you do when you have to do a sport at such a high level, is you really have to get to know your team. And I'm lucky enough that my whole team works very, very well together, and we've all been able to kind of learn what works best for us and what works best for our team.
Gita, thank you so much for joining me here today at Baxter Hill.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I hear you have a pretty big role in the management of how everything runs here. In the Gochman family, they're more than just an equestrian family. They have a lot of different footprints in their fingers and other life aspects. Have you kind of felt that you've soaked into the family and that you're now a member of their team?
Absolutely. You know, we're all very close here as a team. And we're close with the family, which is a great thing to have, because you know, we travel together, we enjoy things outside of the barn together. You know, you have to have that kind of connection with you know, with the people you work with too, and the families really brought that like for us to, you know, to enjoy.
And now Darragh Kenny has your back. He's supporting you as your trainer. What does that journey look like to now have him training you, and especially when you're competing at WEF, to have such a competitive rider himself helping you out?
Yeah, it's definitely a newer relationship for me. He's incredible. He's obviously a very talented rider himself, as you've said, but he is actually really, really good at managing and organizing things for me, and kind of explaining the best way to do something for me to learn how to do it. I think the way that he explains it to me is always really important, and he always explains why I need to do something a certain way. So I'm very lucky that Darragh's come into my team and been able to lead my horses and kind of shape us into what we are right now. And he's definitely led me to that next step, and he's going to hopefully continue to teach me how to jump at a more consistent level. But it's always amazing to be able to work with a rider that's so talented themselves. Like, he can get on my horses and show me something that he's trying to explain, or since he has the same feeling that I do when he's riding, he's able to really implement that in my own team. And he's been a very, very great addition, and I hope to have a long and strong relationship.
And what does it look like for him when you're competing at WEF ringside? What is he telling you? What strategies is he kind of giving you right before you compete?
A lot of it is about track, and a lot of it is about when to use my leg and when to use my hand, and kind of the balance of my body. A lot of the success in riding comes from the very, very small details, and it's not always about like finding the best distance, but when you see the distance, figuring out what you can do best to make it work for the horse. And it's always horse specific, which is something I've kind of had to always remember, that not every single horse is the same, so you can't ride every single horse the same. So a lot of it is always about using my outside leg and my outside rein, and keeping my body back and very still, and being as smooth as possible, and no huge forward or backward movement movements and always setting my pace. I think that's something I work on a lot, is going to the first jump. I sometimes go too slow to the first jump. So a lot of it is just kind of little details that can help the horses jump better.
Darragh's just an excellent rider. You know, he's a very, very smooth rider. He can ride any kind of horse. You could see there he's coming a little deep to that vertical, and he just let the horse get off to one side a little, just to give him a little bit more room. You know, those are the clever things you can't tell somebody when you're trying to teach them. You just have to feel it, and you're great like Darragh. That was excellent.
He certainly felt it. Felt a good round underneath them. Give us the sixth of the clears so far. Darragh Kenny with VDL Cartello. So nicely done from Darragh. His chance for a second five-star Grand Prix with the season.
Darragh, thank you so much for joining us here at Baxter Hill in Wellington. We're super excited to watch you win the Longines League of Nations and be such a successful competitor yourself. What is it like to now develop the next generation of show jumpers?
I find it very fun, actually. I really enjoy it. You know, I'm very passionate about the sport, and I really care about my horses and, you know, the education that they have. And now I'm really enjoying educating other people and how their horse management should be and how their you know, sport career should be, and I really enjoy it.
And it's a fairly new partnership with Mimi, but how did that partnership start, and how has it grown?
Yeah, it started at the end of last winter. We had a conversation about her training with me, and it went very well, and I felt very comfortable. I think Mimi's extremely talented. I really have a lot of fun training her. And it's just grown every week and every month since then. It's got better and better, and I think her riding has improved a lot, but also her education has got a lot better, and you know, the way she looks at the sport has changed and matured a lot, and I really think she's a kid that has a big future.
And outside of the show arena, who is Mimi like just as a person, as a friend, as a human being?
I would say very conscientious, very down to earth, very calm, very conscientious. You know, like she really thinks about a lot. And I think that's probably why it works very well with us, because I'm completely an overthinker, and I think she is as well. And it probably works well that way, you know.
And Mimi has such a strong support system with her family and her team. Do you like to now be involved in such a strong unit?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. You know, like her parents are super supportive. They're great people. Her mom rides as well. You know, her sister rides as well. It's a very family orientated thing, and I come from that myself originally. So I think it's so nice for her to have that support. Her staff are second to none. They're absolutely brilliant, and they're brilliant to work with. So for me, it's been a really easy transition, and it's worked out very well.
And one of our top horses, Selena, we can see the passion, we can see the connection and the bond. What would you say is that connection looks like with the horse, and how the journey has been?
Yeah, I think that's where one of her main talents is making a connection with her horses and getting her horses to believe that they're as good as they are. You know, like she gives horses confidence, she gives horses trust, and you know, like her relationship with Selena has been a very long relationship, and it's been super successful. But she does that with all her horses. You know, she really cares about them. She makes them believe in themselves. She makes them believe in her, and that's where she gets the last out of them.
And sometimes athletes, they don't have this kind of natural ability to fight in the ring, to have the sense of really thinking beyond what's going on. But Mimi seems to have the full package. She's got it all.
Yeah, definitely. Like for me, it's really, really fun, you know, because I really believe in her. I think she's phenomenally talented. I think her riding is only getting better and better. And so I think she can go to every championship and jump every American team in the future. So I'm excited.